Hi guys, my name is Keith Neurotis, known as the leader and superior of Club LASM, aka lover of animated shows and movies, and I'm here with Lazybones.
Yo!
And Gilbert.
Horchata.
So first things first, how are we doing in this lovely Tuesday afternoon?
Doing alright.
A bit fine.
Alright. Well, I'm currently holding the podcast auditions to hope to bring more and more people than just like two people like you two as like speakers. Like we already got a thumbnail designer, Renegade, and I think I'm currently getting another thumbnail designer, so that way there'll be a partial moment that'll be this one, or partially be the other one, you know what I mean? It was surprised how Zeno Robinson, who voiced Hunter, was literally in that episode. Like, they told us beforehand that Zeno would be in that episode. The Court and the King. But before we get to the Court and the King segment, we have to get the first segment out of the way. That is, the roots of evil. So first things first, how did you guys like the segment?
This was a weird episode. I liked it, though. It was very bizarre and kind of unexpected. I didn't really know where it was going to go, actually, and that's kind of refreshing and kind of surprising, because, like, even though, like, obviously, I invested in the show enough to keep watching it, but this was, like, one of the only times where I couldn't really predict what was going to happen next, and I like that about it.
Planters and Loggle are still trying to recruit people for their resistance, but takers, at least Hop Hop isn't helping by saying, hey, join our resistance, we got a greenhouse. And nobody's buying it, and then Loggle showed off his muscles, and everybody's like, ooh, they're all enamored. And I gotta say, one more time, what a beefcake.
Yeah. Like, who would have thought if out of any of the Warwick characters, Loggles will be the one that has the muscles?
And then the family goes down this mysterious village, and that's capture the mysterious village, and this bring me a bunch of plant lovers, which turns into a very midsummer vibe.
I got that same vibe too. Funny enough,
like what was the movie called with that image that you posted?
Midsummer. It turns out everybody are subjects, or at least in some sort of partnership with that mushroom thing. Apothecary Gary.
Gary, or what'd you say his name was again?
Gary. Apothecary Gary, the mushroom thing that controls people.
Gary. I don't remember.
So was that from again? Was it from season 1?
Yeah, that was
I think season 1, when Hop Hop used a bit of the mushroom to control the family.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
And
I still remember that episode to this very day.
And then the tracking device led Andrew's robot to the village and started burning things down. And then, knowing it's the right thing to do, the planters helped them. And in the end, Apothecary Gary realized who's the bigger enemy here, and decided to work together.
And also, half of the frog citizens became zombies.
So, like, what were your favorite moments in that segment?
All the zombie parts and the midsummer references.
I'm not sure if favorite is the right word, but the disturbing comparison between the episode and Midsummer. Now, I personally have not watched the movie. A24 movies are always so freaking weird. But the cultish attitude and when they stepped on the plant, everybody was moaning for the plant. I was like, oh my god, it is so damn creepy. I mean, the people behind that episode must have been really big fans of the movie. Down to the last detail, to the flower crown that Bessie had. Boy. And as I mentioned, Largo is showing off his muscles to everyone, and everyone's so enamored by him. That's my favorite part when the frogs are following, were going down the village, and then there's two little frogs. They just randomly held Anne's hand, and I'm just like, I just felt so creeped out. It's
Yeah,
cute,
it's the
but
creepiest
creepy at
segment
the
I've
same
ever
time.
seen. Well, I think I found two favorite moments is most likely the more relatable moments. One, the slightest, is when Hop Hop said, sometimes I wish I could be surrounded by people who love what I love for a change. Boy, that just hit me. I think
Oh
we
yeah, I
saw
remember that.
that
That was a good
clip.
line.
I think we all saw that clip before the episode came out. And the second favorite part, and I swear it's literally by far the fandom's most relatable thing, is when that moment when Largo accidentally steps on the flower and everyone was just like going overly dramatic, just flipping out.
Oh, that's right. I loved that.
Yeah,
Actually, that was funny. Actually,
that's the
That
most
was the
relatable
Midsummer
moment.
reference.
I just tweeted out, I just felt like that overreaction could most likely be my reaction for The Court and the King. Or maybe the final episode of The Hardest Thing. Or maybe the Owl House Season 2 finale, The King's Tide. Whatever the fans' reaction will be the similar reaction to how we saw the frogs are like just completely like screaming in agony. Like you saw the segment and how it was like, you know?
Personally, when I post reactions, kind of like what you did, I have King Andreas winking at foreshadowed event.
Oh, yeah, you really did that.
I do that for fun. I'm not gonna apologize for it.
No regrets, huh?
Like if someone said, "Don't worry, we'll always be together," and I have Andreas winking, ding, like.
Like, are you sure about that?
Overall, it was a good filler episode. It was filler, but it was enjoyable and good nonetheless.
In a creepy way, of
I'm
course.
just happy. I'm always happy to hear the voice of Apothecary Gary, Tony Hale, who also voices the Pie King in versus the Forces of Evil, Dr. Psycho from Harley Quinn, and of course, Buster Bluth from Arrested Development. He's always fun.
Yeah. But with that said, we should get to the most important segment finally, which is the core and the king.
How they got to Darcy is what surprised me the most.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by how they kind of showed how Marcy kind of transitioned into Darcy, because now like she has a bit of her old personality because of the what's it called again, the core, when the core possessed Marcy, like it kind of possessed some of its personality traits as well.
Apparently, it's to one of Marcy's video games, and I'm just like, is this really some sort of eldritch abomination hell for the greatest minds in thousands of years of Amphibia, or what? I mean, you listen to her, and no, you don't exactly see that sort of intellectual darkness, and that's just. Summary of the episode: King Andreas confronts the demons of his past, while Darcy is deleting Marcy's memories. If that translation is correct on the computer board. King Andreas recalls a time when he used to be best friends with a frog and a toad, Leaf, and Beryl. I believe Beryl was mentioned in a previous episode. Right when Sasha and Grind were fighting that giant lake monster thing. Mentioned that Beryl died protecting the village.
And like I said before, I was so surprised to see Zeno in this episode. Like, they told us beforehand that Zeno would be voicing young Andreas. Along with,
I think, according to Zeno, I think he got some pointers from Keith David, to get that the tone for Andreas, and
Pete
that's
Davidson?
really no, not Pete. No, Pete
No,
Davidson.
not Pete David. He said
No,
Keith
not
David.
Keith David.
Oh my gosh.
But it's still amazing how Zeno's amazing in all this. I mean, he's Hunter, he's Remy and Vixie Green, he's Prince Andreas. We can get him in the ghost of Molly McGee. That'd be amazing. This is about Andreas' past and how he was gonna step up in leadership after his father, who showed him the core. First meeting the core. And according to Andrews' father, right around, it is medieval times, at least on Earth's time. So Andrews literally met the core, as he implied, over 1,000 years ago. When Leaf sees the future through the music box, she realized that if Andrews continued down this path, it would lead to destruction. With his invasion. So she ran away with the box, managed to escape. Andreas failed, but according to the core, said that the box will be back. Don't know where or when, but they'll see the box again.
What's even shocking for me to see what Leaf saw in that box is, it got me thinking, is that really going to happen on The Hardest Thing or All In? Like, there's so much for me to take in as seeing the slightest amount of clips I've seen from her perspective.
No, it does make me look. I'm just spitting it out here with Leaf seeing into the future. I gotta say, what would happen if she didn't touch the box or see the future? Because often when people look into the future, it never ends well. You try to prevent some stuff, but you get the same result.
Like, no matter how many times you try to stop it one way, it would eventually come true the other way. Like, there's no way of stopping it.
It makes you wonder, like, what if Leaf didn't touch it and she continued working with Andreas and maybe kind of help him a bit instead of, running away. I'm not saying she could definitely prevent it, but there's a reason why. In Greek mythology, whenever you talk to an oracle, whenever she tells you things, 9 out of 10, you end up dead.
Another slightest detail that I've also found when watching this episode. Do you remember the time when we were watching the trailer and literally the ending, we heard this voice saying, "Don't you think it's time to say goodbye to those childhood friends of yours?" Apparently, it was none other than Andreas' father, and it wasn't as creepy as it was in the trailer.
That's true.
It's almost like it was almost referencing to Anne, when in reality it was referring to Andreas. And one of the voices, and when Darcy, now fully downloaded, one of the voices, I think Andreas' father, saying that he's almost proud of him. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice they played the same Macintosh sound effect when Darcy was kind of rebooted or re-energized at the end?
Optimization in progress. I mean, I'm literally seeing the tweet now about that scene. They can translate it to memory wipe in progress. What the heck?
That was also pretty funny.
What?
When the episode came out, I was listening to Beryl, voiced by Jason Ritter, aka Dipper, in Gravity Falls, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wait a minute, is Beryl related to the curator from another episode? The parallel of Grunkle Stan? Think about it. I think it's implied that there is a frog, Dipper, and Mabel. So what if Beryl was their ancestor?
This is taking place thousands of years before Gravity Falls, particularly a Gravity Falls prequel.
God, I mean, then again, the showrunner was literally a Gravity Falls alumni.
Either Beryl, or I think there was another frog with the Dipper hat, so could be him, could be Beryl, or could be that guy. Who knows?
It's all coming together. The Disney TVA cinematic universe.
Yes, like why would want that? But like
And
show.
and lots of people I've seen talk about how Leaf it could be the ancestor of the planters. And now I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I predicted this like a year ago. Like I thought it was honestly, I thought it was pretty obvious. And look at her.
Yeah, like she did the similar dance from Anne, like
I'm not
that
talking about the
second
dance. I'm
season
talking
to.
about her appearance. Like
I
it's really.
know what you're saying, but yeah, the dance is just nearly just as similar to Sprig.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you cannot tell me
So
that
there's
she's
still a
not
little bit
related to
of Marcy
Sprig.
inside her.
I can't stop thinking about Marcy. Everybody's worried about Marcy, especially in regards to her memories. And in the future episode, we're gonna have her be in a Mabel situation from Weird Mageddon.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my god, yes. I think we did saw that one photo of Marcy dancing with Sasha and
With her
Anne, so
friends, with
hopefully
the
not
little
all
puppy
of her
toy.
memories will be erased.
It's gonna be a hard thing to watch, isn't it?
The hardest thing, you mean?
To watch.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say that. Are there any favorite moments from that episode?
I just say I think the story is pretty compelling. I like the little forest creatures or whatever they passed by. Those were kind of cool. I do wish it focused on Darcy a little bit more, though, because we haven't seen her that much in recent episodes.
Fun. Well, I'm not sure if favorite part is the right word, but more like just seeing Leaf might have indirectly caused the future because of what she did. Yeah, that's how most prophecies go. You hear one prophecy, you don't like it, you try to change it, and things goes to crap. At least that's my perspective. I could be wrong, but that's my perspective.
My favorite part, it could most likely be seeing the like really seeing more of the core being the real reason why King Andre is his friends, like their friendship is literally just came to a close, and why like you saw how his father was. It got me second questioning how maybe it wasn't the father in general, but it was most likely his father being controlled by the core, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Okay,
Yeah.
they did hint at that at the end that the core sounded like the father.
Some people have some people notice this. The first time we see Andreas and he was looking down at the planters, might imply that he was looking at Sprig, who reminded him of a certain frog he knew thousands of years ago.
Oh my god. No wonder why he like legit dropped Sprig to his death in True Colors, because it's like he wanted to do that to Leaf as
And
like retaliation.
my last favorite part is near the end of the episode. Is when Andreas was burning the picture, and this quote from The Last Jedi plays in my head. The past die. Kill it. You have to. And that is exactly what Andrew was doing, killing the past.
Yeah, and it's
That's
sad.
true, yeah.
It's really sad for me to see, because in the end credit you can literally see the picture burning. It's like really sad for me. Is King Andre is really going to take that much of a very, very petty turn, like petty path to go to now? I mean, come on, like.
I got a friend who wants Andreas to die the way Phantos died in Kid Cosmic.
I think my only big criticism of the episode is that like it kind of does that thing that a lot of like prequel stories do, where like they focus on a certain perspective of a character, but like since it's different from like the incarnation that we're used to, it's kind of hard to see that character for what they are anymore. It's kind of like you know how
You referring
like it's kind of weird for me to look back at Darth Vader without picturing Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker and like Phantom Menace or whatever, who's like a little kid.
But that's the thing here. Like everybody was a kid. Everybody had different personality when they were kids. You know.
Yeah.
And then some bad crap happened to him. And let's be honest. Put yourself in Anakin's shoes for a second. If you were born a slave and pretty much treated very poorly by the Jedi Council, you know, you don't get much respect. And then the other stories of how some other Padawans don't really treat you right either. And then your mom dies, and there was nothing you could have done, or you could have done something about it. You could have tried to free them, but then the order said no, and then you lose the love of your life, and then you get into the war. All that accumulated into. The point is, bunch of crap happens in your life that turn you into like this, and in Andrea's case. It was disappointment and failure of his family's legacy is what drove Andrea to do this.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. It's just always kind of it's sometimes semi distracting for me. Like when I see like a character, like it's kind of distracting for me to see like Anakin Skywalker and like who's basically a version of Darth Vader without James Earl Jones' amazing performance. You know. And the same thing kind of applies with younger, with the younger Andreas, like because the main guy who voices King Andreas as an adult is so amazing that it kind of does pull me a little bit out of the experience when when I'm hearing Andreas without that amazing, compelling vocal performance.
Well, this is Zeno did a good job. Zeno.
Yeah, he did good. Yeah.
And not to mention it takes like 1,000 years ago, so of course. Things are going to sound different because, as prequels imply, this happened long ago. In this case, literally 1,000 years. And I may be going in circles in this, but come on.
Yeah.
Wow. How would you rate the episode with 2 segments, like all together in one episode? How would you rate the entire episode in general?
Both.
Yeah.
The Root of Evil, I give it an 8. The Core of the King, I'll give it 10.
I give the Root of Evil, I give it a 7. I'm going to give The Core and the King like a 7.5 out of 10. It's still a positive score, though. It's still a good, solid episode, though.
I just didn't expect that.
Well, the Root of Evil for me 7, Core and the King the Core and the King 10, which combines it into one length episode. The whole episode would be like 8 out of 10 for me. And with that said, what can you expect from the following episode?
The following episode is Newt in Tights.
And Fight or Flight.
While on a recon mission, Anne and Sprig confront an old mentor.
Nice.
I bet it's that suave-looking guy that was trying to rob a train.
I think that might be... But...
And Fight or Flight, Anne tries to rescue an old friend from one of King Andreas' robot camps.
What of Anne's friends?
At the camp, so I doubt it's Darcy.
If it's not Marcy, then who is? Wait a second. Could it be Olivia Newton? Wait a second. Could it be Olivia Newton?
Oh.
Because
maybe.
we have rarely seen them since Olivia Newton episode. So it has to
That'd be interesting.
It has to be Olivia Newton that they're going to be rescuing. That has to be.
I'm looking. I can't stop thinking about Newt in Tights because it reminds me of that Mel Gibson movie, Men in Tights.
It's crazy you actually know some of the songs from the musical. I rarely.
Well, I've watched the movie probably 3, maybe 4 times in my life.
Oh. Okay.
Mel Brooks is a very funny guy. Well, I think he likes that movie. Okay, Waititi made Jojo Rabbit. I heard he really liked that movie. It's very dumb, but or it's a comedy and.
I'd say it's substantive. It's funny, but also meaningful and
exactly,
and also deep.
Funny, meaningful, deep. It's the best way to describe Jojo Rabbit. And Men in Tights. It's a funny movie, and I can imagine we might get some obvious funny moments from Newt in Tights.
Men in Tights, is that a reference to the Robin Hood Mel Brooks movie?
That's what I said. Yes,
Yeah.
the Bell Brooks Men in Tights movie.
Well, with that said, thank you all for being in another LASM podcast. And remember, the LASM podcast auditions, I've just started to open in them so that way we can have more recruits. But jobs like speakers like YouTube are doing, or thumbnail designs like Renegade, or editing skills, there's more information about it on my Twitter post. You can DM me or reply me on that post, or whether you would like to audition, so that way we can expand the channel. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Click on the notification bell so that way you won't miss out on another podcast video. And with that said, I bid you too, and the viewer, of peace. Bye! Say bye,
Bye.
everyone.
And that's the way the news goes.
Oh, jeez.